Hi, I'm Madonna.
Hi.
My good friend Linda Hoggard. We've been using a Zeolite product for, 13, 14, 15 years now, and have met one of the guys who originally developed the process to cleanse it, so it's something that we believe in and trust and utilise within our clinics with our clients.
Mm-hmm.
And because it made such a difference in our lives, you took a long time to be able to get up to the full dose, didn't you?
I did a bit, but you remember I was medically diagnosed with mercury and copper poisoning when
Yeah,
I was 20, got some dysfunctional things like pyroluria, etc., which drive kind of copper toxicity. And I grew up farming in New Zealand, you know, like we'd be dipping sheep and it'd be like, you know, next thing your grandfather would have you in the sheep dip and potentially some, you know, kind of toxic things and, you know, I mean, people talk about toxicity and they kind of go like, well, where is it? And it's just unfortunate that it's kind of everywhere and it's insidious and it's inorganic and it's organic.
Yeah.
And certain people's bodies really, their innate detoxification doesn't cope with it. And of course, some of these modern compounds that have come out through, you know, changes in how we as humans use petrochemicals and everything, we don't actually have detoxification pathways that particularly handle them very well.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the real point of difference with using a zeolite product, is having a product that can actually encapture toxicity in your body and remove it without actually requiring your innate detoxification to be working. So it's independent from it. So hence, I mean, it was a lifesaver for me from the point of view of kind of chronic fatigue and elevated noise, light sensitivity and those sorts of things that I was suffering
With me it was the fibro, so just about every night sleeping or waking up in pain, and it occasionally, once a month I might wake up without pain and think, gee, what did I take last night, to sort of settle that down. And it was funny because you get to know your clients quite well. And we were just sort of experimenting with it because we didn't know how it was going to impact on ourselves or our clients. And we just saw some of those amazing results that you think, this is just a bit of a different thing going on in the body here. So it quite changed our lives and the lives of lots of our clients, even from the perspective of, in some people, the ability to start shrinking tumours of different types. Was that a good way of saying that?
Oh, well, I know what we have seen, and I always say to people, if you don't believe us, you should just be a fly on the wall in a really good, effective naturopath's clinic for a month, and you will see some things that maybe stretch your imagination, your understanding and your current belief systems about what's possible.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, because even as a naturopath, sometimes, you know, because we do kinesiology, obviously, and with that kinesiology, we muscle test what supplements are best for the person. So when you get a new product, I always only get one or two of the product because I don't know whether it's going to muscle test up as being beneficial for someone. And I just won't sell things that aren't good for people. So when we first got this zeolite product, and it was like 90% of people that it was muscle testing up for, and that's a big change. You know, that's a big thing when that happens in the clinic.
Oh, for sure, and it still consistently muscle tests up at a high level because, you know, I was talking to a friend of mine recently. It's just so evident to me, like after 20 years of working with people and getting my own body well, there is some consistent stuff that kind of goes wrong, and as to whether that leads you into chronic fatigue, autoimmunity, a variety of different things, sort of depends on maybe where your weaknesses are in the body. But ultimately, you know, one of the big drivers is toxicity.
Yeah. And like even people who are falling pregnant, they know they've got to avoid those big things like tuna and swordfish. You know, there's lots of information out there that says, hey, you get enough of that mercury, it's not going to be good for the bubby in the womb. So people know these things from that level where they've heard it over the years. But actually going down into your body and seeing how it's impacting on you, you just don't know until you start removing these things. And it's not going to... I do a process called OligoScan. Have you had an OligoScan?
No, you talk about it.
Okay.
We haven't done anything.
So OligoScan is it's from Europe, and it's a scan that actually takes a measurement of what's in the muscle, the ligaments, the tendons, the bones, the blood. So it's not just like a blood test, it's not just like a hair mineral analysis, it's actually what's in your body, what's stored and what's flowing around your body at that moment. So therefore it's an in the moment heavy metal test, in the moment mineral level test. So which is pretty cool, and it's instant, you know, so as long as we and this is what I do. I get their height, weight, and blood group.
Might be our next video. You can oligoscan me.
It's pretty cool. And what it does, and because it's so instantaneous, then you can get a readout of what your heavy metals are like. And it's particularly people after a lot of medical intervention for, say, cancer and that sort of thing, because the detox pathways are so chock-a-block with the toxicity associated with the cancer therapy, which has saved their life. Quite often the heavy metals are just building up through the roof. So it's once you have a look at where those heavy metals are, you just know you've got to clean up the body and just help the cells to work more effectively. And it's our big
go-to. And I think the other thing that comes to mind, I always say, everybody's ever sat down in front of me, one of the big things is like, I'm tired. And I really don't feel like I'm thriving, and often, all their blood tests are okay because they're not in a disease state. And of course, when we're looking at energy production and in the mitochondria, magnesium plays a really big role of this. And one thing that we know is that magnesium takes the place of, within the magnesium,
in
mercury.
ATP?
Is that mercury takes the place and can sit where magnesium's meant to be in the body. So suddenly where magnesium's part of the ability to be able to release your ATP, mercury's there and it's holding that. And so just from that kind of point alone, and I often talk about how these things, if you sort of think in an analogy way of making energy like a whole lot of set of cogs, that can often just all kind of jam up, and there can be a variety of reasons, and oxidative overload, and particularly heavy metals, could just jam that whole thing up. So you might sort of think you can take things linked with developing energy, but you actually need to unjab your cogs. Get them all working properly.
And the zeolite is one of the things that really helps to do that. It's quite fabulous. Cool. Hope that helps. Have a good day.